U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says Nigeria's removal from the watch list of countries violating religious freedom was based on facts. Well, at a meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari, he explains that the reason for the delisting of the country. Well, President Buhari at the meeting thanks to U.S. authorities for the gesture, while noting that there is freedom of worship in Nigeria and that no one is discriminated against on the basis of his or her faith.
Stand strongly for human rights at home and abroad. And that means, among other things, ensuring that governments are protecting the right of assembly, of free speech. And in that context, of course, in Nigeria.
Well, for more on this, let's now bring in Dr. Franklin. He is actually a senior research fellow and a director for Genocide Prevention in Africa at the Christian Solidarity International. That's in Zurich in Switzerland. Thank you so much, Dr. Franklin, for joining us tonight on the program. And of course, we're definitely excited to get that news that Nigeria has been removed from that list. But one wonders, what was the criteria in the first place that we were actually used to enter that list? What was the criteria the U.S. used in order to actually put us on there in the first place?
Thank you very much. Greetings to you guys in Abuja. The point lies in the fact that Blinken's visit has been a strategic win for the Buhari's government. It has been a very tragic day for human rights in Nigeria. Removing Nigeria from that list, a country where we are seeing increasing violence against religious minorities. So when the U.S. does that kind of thing, we know there is a strategic placement of themselves in their coming battle with China. Both Sharia and blasphemy laws are still being used in northern Nigeria against religious figures, like Mubarak Bala is still in jail. Yahya Aminu, Sharif Aminu is still in jail. Leah Shwaribo is still in the custody of Boko Haram and the Islamic State for West Africa. So it's a very, very tragic day for human rights, delisting Nigeria from this list. The criteria for doing that, a lot of religious organizations, Christian Solidarity International, signed a document in August this year, in line with other 40 other human rights organizations, listing why Nigeria should be relisted. We pleaded with Secretary Blinken to do that, not to delist Nigeria, but he went on ahead because America's strategic interests are at stake. It's all about interest, and this is being built on the back of the human rights and fundamental freedom of Nigerians. And that is a very, really appalling situation and very sad for Nigerians. It's a very sad day today.
Franklin, the president has said everybody is allowed to observe their faith. The minister even said it was a case of honest disagreement between the two nations. Looks like what is happening now is that both America and Nigeria apparently have agreed, and that's why they were delisted.
Well, they have agreed on other things that has nothing to do with human rights, because the facts on the table remain that in northern Nigeria, Sharia and blasphemy laws are still being used to discriminate against Christians. Christians don't get permission to build or renovate their churches. We know that. Mubarak Bala is still in jail. Aminu Yahya Sharif is still in jail. These are humanists and people who don't believe in anything anymore. They are being clamped in jail. And the government is increasingly at the state level, becoming increasingly authoritarian. Luka Biniyat, a journalist doing his job reporting on the killing of Christians in Kaduna, is clamped in jail in Kaduna. So I wonder the kind of agreement that the US and Nigeria could reach when these facts are on the table that respects human rights that we don't know about. So the facts are there. America is all about interests, we know. It's not about the Republican or the Democratic administration. American foreign policy doesn't change. They are here for their interests, we know that. Nigerians don't expect America to solve all our problems. But that's symbolic, the listing of Nigeria. It's just a win for authoritarianism and the loss for human rights. Human rights lost the game today.
You did make you made an error earlier on where you did say that Leah Sharibu was in jail, but no, she's been held by those who, invaded her school back in the day. But you know what, let's talk about what you're actually arguing, because beyond you and your organization, we see other groups such as the Commission for Religious Freedom. They're actually against, the delisting of Nigeria. And you've actually alluded to the fact that you would rather Nigeria is relisted, so that way there are changes that are made in the country. So can you talk to us about some of the changes you would like to see, so that way Nigeria is no longer associated with such a list moving forward?
Thank you very much. We would like to see a country where every Nigerian, wherever he comes from, whatever religious affiliation he belongs to, should have the fundamental freedom to worship in freedom and in peace, not being bombed in his churches while coming out, not being killed because he's a Christian, as we are seeing in the middle belt of Nigeria today. Christians are being disproportionately slaughtered every day in their homes. So the president of Nigeria knows all these facts, and the Americans too know this. So the changes we want to see is that the president lives up to his fundamental responsibilities to Nigerians, providing security, religious freedom in the middle belt, in the Benue Basin, in northern Nigeria. Sharia and blasphemy laws should cease being used to harass Christians and other people that have other faith affiliations. These are the changes we want to see in Nigeria going forward. And American pressure is necessary. But unfortunately, we lost that today by this delisting of Nigeria from the countries of a particular concern by the American Secretary of State.
Before we let you go, let's be clear. The statement of United States Secretary of State, he says, this was not based on sentiments or interest, it was based on facts. These were his words.
These are his opinions, because the facts tell a different story. I gave an example of Mubarak Bala, who is in prison. I gave an example of Yahaya Sharif Aminu, who is still in prison. I gave an example of Leah Sharibu, the Christian girl who is still in the custody of Boko Haram and the Islamic State for West Africa. Others have been released. So these are elements that show that religious freedom is still a very far journey in Nigeria. And these are the changes we want to see. We will need American pressure to maintain that on the Nigerian government officials, because they don't see that the country is heading towards implosion. Because all the sectarian crisis that we are seeing everywhere, nobody is happy. We have agitations, east, west, north, and south. And religious freedom lies at the bedrock of many of the crises we are having in the middle belt of Nigeria today. So these are the changes we want Nigerians and the Nigerian government to look at, and then grant the Nigerian people this lease of life where they can worship in freedom and in truth, whatever faith affiliation they want to belong to. This is the case we are making.
Means that Nigeria,
Solidarity International.
Well, the fact remains that Nigeria has been delisted, but of course there's still room for improvement, going by all that you have said. But for now, from Dr. Franklin Omueze joining us live from Frankfurt, we'll have to say thank you so much for being here with us tonight on the show.